Hi and welcome. This training is going to be on how to create effective quiz questions. Today, we will review how quizzes can provide useful information, understand the different types of questions available, learn how to align quiz questions with objectives, and analyze and critique sample questions. In education, we often encounter two primary types of assessments: formative and summative. Formative assessments are informal and ongoing assessments that provide feedback to both teachers and students about how students are progressing within the class. They are used to adjust instruction and improve student learning. Class discussions are an example of formative assessments. Summative assessments, such as quizzes, are used to evaluate student learning at the end of an instructional module by comparing it against the week's objectives. The primary goal is to determine whether the educational objectives have been achieved and to assign grades to students' performance. They evaluate student learning against a set of standards or objectives and provide a summary of the student's performance. One way to ensure you have effective quiz questions is by varying the question formats or the type of questions used. Incorporating varied question types in quizzes is crucial for assessing different aspects of student understanding. Multiple choice is one of the most frequently used quiz question formats. The prompt can ask a close-ended question or provide a student with a statement to finish by choosing the correct answer choice. Another way to use multiple choice questions is to have students select multiple correct answers. Typically, the terminology used in these questions is select all that apply. Next, we have true-false questions. This is another frequently used format. You provide a statement, and the student must select whether that statement is true or false, based on the information learned in that module. These statements can be simple or complex. They can also be based on a scenario. Next, we have matching. Matching questions are effective as they test multiple concepts within one question. These questions can be used in a variety of ways. Most often, matching is used to measure knowledge with terms. However, you can apply this type of question to scenarios, concepts, procedures, formulas, dates, and so on. Matching questions reduce the amount of guessing students do as well. They require students to use higher-level thinking to complete and gain full credit. In these questions, students must make multiple correct associations in order to gain full credit. Lastly, we have fill in the blank. In Moodle, this question type is listed as Select Missing Words question. In this question type, you would provide a short paragraph with several blanks. This allows you to test multiple terms within one question. Students must have the knowledge of the content, but they could also use the context clues to help them determine the correct answers. Now let's take a look at some examples using these different types of questions. First is multiple choice. The question is, during a study of the ecosystem of a freshwater pond, a group of students observed a decline in the population of aquatic plants. They also noticed an increase in the population of algae and a decrease in the population of small fish. Based on this information, which of the following is most likely the explanation for these observations? This question is a straightforward, scenario-based, multiple choice question with one correct answer. The question below states, Which of the following are examples of abiotic factors that can influence the distribution and abundance of organisms in an ecosystem? Select all that apply. This is an example of one which has multiple correct answers. Next, we have true-false. There are two examples listed. The first, in a heterozygous individual, both alleles for a trait are expressed equally. This is a straightforward question. The next is a scenario. It gives the scenario and then the question. Now we have matching. This is a matching of terms. Students would see the definitions as well as the terms and be able to match them based on their prior knowledge as well as knowledge learned in the module. Here's an example of a fill-in-the-blank question. This provides the paragraph and then the appropriate answers. There is an opportunity for you as the instructor to provide a variety of correct answers for each blank. For example, the second blank, the correct answer is genes or alleles. You can put both as correct or acceptable answers. Bloom's taxonomy provides a framework for categorizing educational goals and objectives, which is particularly useful in crafting questions that test higher level thinking. Instead of focusing solely on memorization and recall of information, questions can be designed to encourage analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. As educators, we always strive to push our students to the furthest extent of their abilities. We encourage them to problem solve through critical thinking, and with this, become lifelong learners. We owe it to our students to prepare them for life and careers beyond our classrooms. One way to foster learning with these goals in mind is through higher level thinking. Using Bloom's taxonomy, we are able to adjust our curriculum and push the boundaries of education. Here's a good visual to use when thinking about how to apply higher level questions in your quizzes. On the left, you have Bloom's taxonomy. On the right are good words to use when thinking about how to frame your questions. How will the students be using this information? How are they integrating it with their prior knowledge? How will they use information learned in these modules to redesign or critique current practices? By incorporating questions that align with higher level Bloom's taxonomy, you can promote advanced cognitive development and encourage students to apply their knowledge in more complex and meaningful ways. Incorporating case studies and scenarios is another way to create effective quiz questions. Case studies and scenarios are powerful tools for bringing real-world relevance into the classroom. By presenting students with practical situations or problems, educators can encourage them to apply theoretical concepts to concrete examples. This not only enhances understanding, but also fosters critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Case studies and scenarios can be particularly effective in disciplines such as business, law, and healthcare, where real-world application is crucial. By integrating these elements into quizzes, you can create more engaging and impactful assessment experiences. Additionally, each class has its own set of unique situations where the taught content is applicable. Providing opportunities for students to engage with questions that apply to their future work can further enhance student engagement with the course material. By using these questions, educators can help ignite a deeper passion in students for their desired field through relevant and practical questions. Now let's talk about making it visual. Incorporating visual elements such as charts, graphs, and diagrams into quizzes can greatly enhance student understanding and engagement. Visual aids can help students grasp complex concepts, identify patterns, and interpret data more effectively. For instance, a question that includes a graph and asks students to analyze trends encourages them to apply their knowledge in a visual context. This not only tests their understanding of the subject matter, but also their ability to interpret and draw conclusions from visual information, a crucial skill in many fields. You must also align questions with objectives. By aligning your quiz questions with learning objectives, you ensure that your assessments accurately measure what you intend to teach, providing valuable information about student learning and the effectiveness of your instruction. Here's how to achieve this. Match the question content. Ensure that the content of your quiz questions directly relates to the learning objectives. Each question should be designed to assess a specific objective or part of it. All major objectives should be assessed, and the number of questions should be proportionate to the importance of each objective. You also want to align the cognitive level of your questions with the intended learning outcomes. For example, if the objective is for the students to analyze a concept, your questions should prompt analysis rather than mere recall of facts. How your students perform on quizzes is not only a good test of their knowledge, but it can provide insight on the effectiveness of your quiz questions and instruction. If students consistently struggle with questions tied to a specific objective, it may indicate that that objective needs to be addressed more thoroughly within your instruction. Providing feedback to your students is another great way to have effective quiz questions. Every opportunity is a learning opportunity if you make it one. In asynchronous classes, providing feedback on student submissions is particularly important. This is a key moment for students to reflect on their work and learn from the errors they've made. In your quizzes, you can provide feedback on correct answers as well as incorrect ones. Let's take a look at these quotes about learning from our mistakes. Mistakes are the portals of discovery. James Joyce, Ulysses, 1922. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. Henry Ford, 1929. Mistakes are the stepping stones to wisdom. Oprah Winfrey, 2005. In Moodle, there is a section called Quiz Statistics. For educators using Moodle, in the platform's Quiz Statistic feature is a valuable tool for analyzing quiz performance. It provides detailed insights into question difficulty and overall quiz reliability. By examining these statistics, educators can identify questions that may be too easy or too difficult, as well as those that effectively differentiate between high and low performers. This data-driven approach allows for informed adjustments to quizzes, ensuring they are fair, challenging, and aligned with the learning objectives. There are also some things to avoid when writing your quiz questions. Non-content questions that do not directly assess knowledge of the subject matter can distract and confuse students. Leading questions that suggest the correct answer can skew results and fail to accurately measure understanding. Double negatives can make questions unnecessarily complicated and hard to interpret. Ambiguity in questions can lead to multiple interpretations, resulting in unfair assessments. Overly complex wording can obscure the intended focus of the question, making it difficult to demonstrate their knowledge. Check out these bad quiz questions below. In a biology course, what is the name of the first president of the United States of America? This question does not have anything to do with the content of this course. Considering the significant evidence supporting endosymbiotic theory, you may agree that the mitochondria originated from the engulfed non-nucleate cells, right? Which mathematician was not insignificant in the non-development of non-calculus? Which of the following did a leader do in that big war? Did something with planes? Talked a lot on the radio? Made some boats go places? Wrote secret messages? In the domain of psychopharmacology, what is the term for the brain's atypical biochemical response, leading to an individual's lessened physiological and psychological reaction necessitating increased dosages of a substance to achieve the erstwhile effect as per the original consumption levels? Now let's practice. Look at the following sets of questions and determine the best answer choice. Which of these examples is an effective quiz question? A. Did the thing that happened in the year with the big event cause the one outcome or the other? Or B. What is the primary outcome of the Treaty of Versailles in 1919? If you chose B, that is the correct answer. Here you will see there is feedback provided as well. This is a well-written question in which there are specific events and a specific year. If you take this again and choose the incorrect answer, there is also feedback. This question is ambiguous and does not provide accurate details. Okay, question 2. Which question is elevated with higher level thinking? A. Who is credited with developing the theory of relativity? Or B. Evaluate the impact of Albert Einstein's theory of relativity on modern scientific understanding and technological advances. Provide examples to support your argument. If you chose B, that is the correct answer. This not only asks students to recall, but it also requires them to analyze the impact of Einstein's theory in both science and technology. If you were to take this one again and choose the incorrect answer, more feedback is provided. Question 3. Which question is overly complex and unnecessary wording? A. In the context of the phenomenon where celestial bodies exert a force upon each other and in vast expanse of the cosmos, which individual is attributed to the formulation of the foundational laws that govern this interaction? Or B. Analyze how Isaac Newton's laws of motion and universal gravitational were pivotal in advancing our understanding of the natural world. Discuss their impact on subsequent scientific developments. Here the correct answer is A. This has overly complex wording. However, if you were to take this again and choose B, this one is a good question. Now let's talk about what we've learned. There are ways you can ensure that questions you create are effective: promoting higher level thinking, varying question formats, including scenarios and case studies, aligning questions with lesson objectives, including visuals with questions, providing feedback. Providing and reviewing feedback in your quizzes is another great way to improve this aspect of teaching. Students are more likely to learn through their mistakes when feedback is provided. You can also review feedback provided in the quiz statistics section to see if your questions are as effective as you hoped. The things you should avoid when writing your quiz questions are non-content questions, leading questions, double negatives, ambiguous questions as well as ambiguous question answers, and overly complex wording. Thank you again for joining us. Have a wonderful day.